Welcome to this video where I talk about the first steps in editing with Final Cut Pro. First off, I want to direct your attention to the Final Cut Pro icon. On some computers it may be down here in the dock, and it's a little slate that looks like a movie slate that has red numbers on it. That's Final Cut Pro. You notice when I mouse over it, it says Final Cut Pro. If for some reason it is not shown in the dock of your particular Mac, there is an easy shortcut for opening Final Cut Pro, and for that matter any application on a Mac. And that is to hold down the Command key, which is the key right next to the spacebar on the keyboard. Hold that down and then press and release the spacebar. That will open up what's called the Spotlight. You can begin typing in Final Cut Pro, and the Mac will find Final Cut Pro for you, and all you have to do is simply press the Enter key. Since I have Final Cut Pro open already, I am not going to reopen it. The first step you want to do when opening Final Cut Pro, if you have not already done so, is to create a new project for the video that you intend to do. You do this by selecting File, New Project. After selecting New Project, you'll see a new tab up here in what's called the browser, and it will say Untitled Project and then give a number. I highly suggest that you save your project immediately so that you do not lose your work in the future, and so that the footage that you import will be associated with the particular project name. To do this, select File and Save Project As. In general, you'll want to keep your video projects on the desktop, but not on the desktop alone. You'll want to create a folder, if you have not already done this, that has your name on it. That way other students who use the Mac will know that that folder contains your work and should not be touched. I'm going to go ahead and give this project a name and select Save. Let me just orient you around Final Cut Pro a little bit. As I said, this window up in the upper left corner is called the browser. In the browser is where all of your particular clips are held. A clip is simply a piece of video footage that can be used in the editing process. In the middle window up here on top, you have what's called the viewer. In the viewer, you can view the particular clips that you double-click on in the browser. On the right-hand side is called the canvas. The canvas allows you to view video footage that you have edited down here in this last window, which is called the timeline. In the timeline, you build what Final Cut Pro calls sequences, which are finished video projects, and you can view those sequences in the canvas. The last two windows I want you to see are over here on the right-hand side. This is called the toolbar, and it allows you to select particular tools that you will use in editing. And down here, this is the audio levels window. It shows you how much audio you have, how loud your audio is while you're editing. If Final Cut Pro does not look like this when you first open it, maybe some other student has made it look a little bit different, you can always come back to this standard way of looking at it by selecting Window, Arrange, Standard. When you select Standard, Final Cut Pro will arrange the windows in the standard orientation as I've just described. In order to get footage into Final Cut Pro from our cameras, you'll need to select File, Log and Transfer. This is the Log and Transfer window. Over here will be a list of clips that we'll be able to select from the camera. Down here in the lower left corner, this is the actual area where we drag the clips from the camera and tell Final Cut Pro that those are the clips we want to import. And over on the right-hand side, we have a means for viewing the clips on the camera so that we can make sure we select the ones we intend to. And down here, some information about the clips that we may want to add to Final Cut Pro so that we know which clips are which. As far as connecting the camera to Final Cut Pro, the first thing you will want to do is grab a USB cable, which you can get from either the multimedia editor or myself, and plug it into the back of the Mac into an open USB port. Then you'll want to open the camera to turn it on, plug the USB cable into the camera, and when you do this on the camera, a menu will appear. The two buttons at the top will say USB Connect, and it doesn't matter which one you press. I generally press the one in the upper left corner. When you do this, the camera will connect to Final Cut Pro, and if all is going smoothly, you will see what is affectionately known as the spinning pinwheel of death. If the spinning pinwheel of death lasts for more than a couple of minutes, or if you do not see the spinning pinwheel of death and no video footage clips appear in this window here, then there's a problem and you'll need to talk to either the multimedia editor or myself. And it's been about a minute and you can see that the clips that are currently on this camera have appeared. Now, this menu is in chronological order from the time that these clips were shot. So most likely, the things that you recently shot are going to be at the bottom of the list. Since I did not shoot specific footage for this demonstration, I'm going to grab some football practice footage that is currently on this camera. What you want to do is mouse click and select the first piece of video, the first clip that you want to import. Hold down the Shift key on your keyboard and select the last clip. Final Cut Pro will select every clip in between. Once you have the clips selected that you want, you can click Add Selection to Queue, or you can click and drag those clips down to this place that says Drag Media here and drop them, and Final Cut Pro will begin to import them. If you want to view the clips to make sure that they're the ones you're looking for, you can select a single clip and you can play it over here. You can also do what's called scrubbing, and you can grab this playhead and scrub through the clip to quickly view the contents of the clip. You can also give the clip a specific name. By default, Final Cut Pro will put clip and then a number in there. It's up to you if you want to be that specific and organized. Generally, I am not. I'm going to go ahead and select those first 5 clips, and I'm going to drag them and drop them into that area. Now, this status symbol means that this clip is currently being imported into Final Cut Pro from the camera. This meter here shows you the progress of the current clip, and you can see the number of clips that are remaining to import. Depending on the length of the clips and the number of clips that you're wanting to import, this process can take some time. I've seen import processes take an hour depending on the number of clips and the amount of time each clip takes. You can walk away at this point if you wish. Keep in mind, however, that the camera is checked out in your name and you are responsible for its safety, and to prevent theft, I recommend that you do not leave it unattended. Do some homework, mess around on Facebook, do whatever you want to do, but don't leave the camera unattended. Alright, it's been about 5 minutes and the clips are imported. You can see that this window is empty, and we can look in the browser and see that there are 5 clips, the 5 clips that we selected, and they appear in that browser. I'm going to go ahead and close. On a Mac, the close button is in the upper left-hand corner of the window, as opposed to on a PC where you would find it on the right. I'm going to go ahead and close it. Now, to do simple editing, I want to teach you a little trick. I want you to take the first 3 fingers of your left hand and place them on the keyboard on the J, K, and L keys of the keyboard. Now we're going to load a clip into the viewer by double-clicking on it. I'm going to click on this clip number 50. The clip loads into the viewer, and by having my fingers on the J, K, and L keys, I can simply push the L key and the clip will begin to play. Now if I hit the K key on the keyboard, the clip will pause. If I hit the J key on the keyboard, the clip will play in reverse. If I want to play the clip faster, I can select the L key a number of times. The more I push the L key, the faster the clip will go. The same is true for the J key in reverse. If I hit it a number of times, the clip will move very quickly in reverse. At any time, I can push the K key to pause the clip at any place. The clip will pause, and I'll be able to move in reverse again by hitting J, and back and forth, and so on. You get the idea. The other keys that I want you to get to know are the left and the right arrow keys. By selecting the left arrow key, the clip will move one frame backwards, and by selecting the right arrow key, the clip will move one frame forwards. This will come in handy when you're trying to find that exact edit point, the exact precise place where you want that clip to begin or to end. Speaking of clips beginning and ending, you'll want to do that with the I and the O key. With your fingers on the J, K, and L key on the keyboard, it's very easy to reach up with your middle finger and select the I key, and it's very easy to select the O key with your pointer finger. I stands for in point, and O stands for out point. What we do with the in and the out points is we define the exact amount of the clip that we would like to keep. The rest of it doesn't get erased, it's just not used when we bring it down to our timeline in just a second. I'm going to go ahead and run this clip backwards until just the moment before the first football player comes into frame and we first hear the whistle, which is about there. If I want to be sure, I can use the right arrow keys, go frame by frame, and I can see there's the whistle beginning and there's the first football player. I'll go backwards a few frames until right about there. I'm going to go ahead and select the I key on the keyboard, and you'll note that Final Cut Pro places an in point right here in the timeline. It also puts an in point here that just tells you that this particular frame of video is the in point. I'm going to go ahead and play this by hitting L. And we'll pause it right about the time right before that zoom out happens. I'm going to go ahead and go frame by frame backwards until just before we see the camera start to move, which is right about there. And I'll go ahead and select the O for out point. Final Cut Pro puts an out point symbol here and also places one in the frame where we can see it when we're paused on this particular clip. I want you to take note of this area in this clip's timeline. You'll see we have an in point, we have a white area or a lighter gray area, and an out point. This area that's the darker gray color is the part that we will not use. It's, like I said, still on the computer. We can use it in the future, but for this particular clip, this is the area that we've defined. In order to use this, what we're going to do is we're going to click and drag in the frame area of this clip, and we're going to bring it down here to the timeline. When we bring it to the timeline, I want you to note a few things. First of all, you see a shadow. I'm going to go ahead and I'm still dragging this. I'm not letting go just yet. You'll see a shadow where that clip is going to appear on that timeline. That will come in handy when you're starting to place additional clips. The other thing I want you to notice is as I move this clip on this top line, you can see that as I move the mouse up, eventually the arrow becomes a right-facing arrow. And if I move it back down a little bit, it becomes a down-facing arrow. Note also that the shadow is a dark color, and if it becomes that right-facing arrow, it's a light color with an outline only. If the arrow is facing down, it becomes what's called an overwrite edit, meaning that when I let go, it will cover anything that's underneath it. If the arrow is a right-facing arrow, then the edit is called an insert edit. An insert edit will take any clips that are below this clip and it will shift everything to the right. This can be a problem for some people, and it may not be what you expect. I generally tell students to begin with, you'll want to have the arrow facing down, which means that it will be below this line on that first track. When I let go of the clip, Final Cut Pro will always ask whether we want to change the sequence settings to match the clip settings. Anytime this question comes up, I want you to just not even think about it, just press yes. If you place your first clip on that timeline and that question does not come up, there may be a problem and you may want to consult with the multimedia editor or myself to figure out why that question didn't come up. If it did come up, select yes, and you'll see that the clip is dropped on the timeline. We can take this playhead by selecting the yellow triangle, and we can move it to the beginning of the clip, and we can use the same J, K, L keys on the keyboard to get it playing, to get it paused, and to play it in reverse. Another shortcut, if you want to play the clip in a simple way, select the space bar, and if you want to pause it, hit the space bar again. The space bar will toggle between play and pause. It's a quick way to get things going or to make things stop. I also want you to note that the video is now playing over here in the canvas, and that's because we have this clip on the timeline. Now what we can do is we can select another clip within this piece of footage that we've imported from the camera. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and select this portion of the clip that is right after the zoom stops. Note that I was scrubbing through the clip to find exactly that point. I see the zooming out here, and the zoom stops. I'll give it just a little bit of fudge room there, and I'll stop, and I'll select the I key on the keyboard. I'll go ahead and push play. We'll let a few players run through the screen. I'll hit pause, and I'll select the O key for out point, select the frame, bring it down to the timeline, and note as I get really close to this first clip that I placed down, the clip will be magnetized to it. That's a simple way to make sure that you don't have any dead space in between. You don't have any what we call black area. If you do not have this magnetizing happen, you can select the N key, N as in Nathan, which stands for magnet. And I know it doesn't make sense, but that's the way it is. N for magnet. The N key is in Nathan. So select the clip, bring it down here to the first clip, let it magnetize. You'll also notice the little triangles that appear. That tells you that those clips are touching. And the arrow, the mouse arrow is pointing down. I'm going to go ahead and let go of the clip. And now I have two clips that are right next to each other. I'm going to come up here to the browser and double click on another clip. I'm going to play this one. And we can see the players are now going back the other direction. I'm going to go ahead, even just live right through here while it's not even stopped. I'm going to, you know what? I saw that little girl, or whoever that was, that girl walk through. I'm going to let that go past that so we don't see her walking through. I'm going to hit the I key again. Notice that when I revised my endpoint by selecting I again, all it did was move the endpoint. Very easy. I'm going to hit play. Let it go for a few seconds and hit the O key. Now note when I say let it go for a few seconds, generally your clips on B-roll or VO footage for your news, you'll generally want to change up the clips roughly about every 4 seconds. That's a rough average, and it's a rule that's designed to be broken at any time, but you can tell how long you have between your in and your out point in both of these windows, meaning the viewer or the canvas, up here in the left corner. This duration here shows you the length of time between the in and the out point. This is 4 seconds and 7 frames. There are 30 frames in a second, and so this number, these two numbers will be a number between 0 and 30, actually 0 and 29. But this is 4 seconds and 7 frames, so it's just a little bit over 4 seconds. The same would be true over here in the canvas. This is the length of time for the clips that we've put on that because we don't have any in and out points defined on the timeline. I have the in and the out points selected on my clip. I'm going to go ahead and drag it, bring it down, let it magnetize, and let go. I'm going to take one more clip up here, number 52. We'll let it play. I'll just select it with the mouse. And there they go. We'll wait for the first whistle. I'm going to let it play backwards until I hear that first whistle blow right there. I let it play. We'll let it go about 4 seconds, which is probably about there. Yeah, it was 4 seconds and 24 frames, just under 5 seconds. No big deal. Grab it, drop it down. Now, at any time we can see what we've done. I'm going to go ahead and click anywhere inside where these numbers are. The playhead will jump to that area. I'll let it jump here to the first clip. I'll hit the space bar. And there it is. So lots of whistle blows and so forth, but that is very basic editing. In the next video, I'm going to show you a little bit more advanced topics, but that will do it for this video. If at any time you have questions, please let me know, or you're welcome to ask the multimedia editor as well. Thanks very much.